CLEP Principles of Management Delegation and Authority. Question 1. If a project manager maps task sequences and dependencies for a complex project inside a hospital department for the orchard unit, which choice gives the strongest management explanation? Option A, PERT chart. Option B, Gantt chart. Option C, job description. Option D, policy. The correct answer is option A, PERT chart. PERT chart fits because PERT helps plan and control projects with interdependent activities. Gantt chart is different because it focuses on task timing bars, job description is different because it lists duties, and policy is different because it gives broad guidance. Question 2. To analyze a case where work is studied to find the most efficient way to perform each task in a remote service team for the orchard unit, which term should be selected? Option A, human relations approach. Option B, scientific management. Option C, contingency theory. Option D, bureaucracy. The correct answer is option B, scientific management. Scientific management fits because scientific management emphasizes task analysis, standard methods, and efficiency. Human relations approach is different because it emphasizes social needs and worker attitudes. Contingency theory is different because it argues management depends on the situation, and bureaucracy is different because it emphasizes hierarchy and rules. Question 3. For an exam item where a leader makes decisions alone and expects quick compliance at a logistics company for the orchard unit, which answer is most accurate? Option A, democratic leadership. Option B, laissez-faire leadership. Option C, servant leadership. Option D, autocratic leadership. The correct answer is option D, autocratic leadership. Autocratic leadership fits because autocratic leadership centralizes authority in the leader. Democratic leadership is different because it invites participation, laissez-faire leadership is different because it gives followers wide freedom, and servant leadership is different because it emphasizes serving followers' needs. Question 4. In a workplace example where a company reinforces a new process until it becomes the normal way to work inside a software company for the orchard unit, which concept is tested? Option A, unfreezing. Option B, storming. Option C, forecasting. Option D, refreezing. The correct answer is option D, refreezing. Refreezing fits because refreezing stabilizes a change so the new behavior lasts. Unfreezing is different because it prepares people for change, storming is different because it is a team development stage, and forecasting is different because it estimates future conditions. Question 5. Before choosing an answer about a team includes employees with different backgrounds, experiences, and perspectives inside a government agency for the orchard unit, which concept should stand out? Option A, uniformity. Option B, centralization. Option C, workforce diversity. Option D, budget variance. The correct answer is option C, workforce diversity. Workforce diversity fits because workforce diversity refers to differences among employees that can affect work and decisions. Uniformity is different because it means sameness rather than difference. Centralization is different because it keeps authority at higher levels, and budget variance is different because it compares financial actuals with planned amounts. Question 6. One manager notices that a manager assigns a task and grants enough authority to complete it during a staffing shortage for the orchard unit. Which management idea is involved? Option A, centralization. Option B, job rotation. Option C, arbitration. Option D, delegation. The correct answer is option D, delegation. Delegation fits because delegation transfers responsibility for work along with the authority needed to do it. Centralization is different because it keeps authority near the top, job rotation is different because it moves employees among jobs, and arbitration is different because it uses a third party to make a binding dispute decision. Question 7. Could a case where employees worry a new system will reduce their status or job security during an operations review for the orchard unit best point to which concept? Option A, resistance to change. Option B, empowerment. Option C, benchmarking. Option D, orientation. The correct answer is option A, resistance to change. Resistance to change fits because resistance to change often comes from fear, uncertainty, or perceived loss. Empowerment is different because it gives people more discretion, benchmarking is different because it compares against best practices, and orientation is different because it introduces employees to the organization. Question 8. Why would a scenario where a manager studies how changes in one department affect suppliers, employees, and customers during a strategic planning session for the orchard unit most likely test which idea? Option A, systems theory. Option B, scientific management. Option C, job specification. Option D. Downward communication. The correct answer is option A. Systems theory. Systems theory fits because systems theory views the organization as interdependent parts within a larger environment. Scientific management is different because it focuses on efficient task design, job specification is different because it lists worker qualifications, and downward communication is different because it describes message direction. Question 9. Where does a team member keeps discussion focused on goals, facts, and deadlines during a compliance review for the Orchard unit fit best in management terminology? Option A. Maintenance role. Option B. Task role. Option C. Blocking role. Option D. Informal authority. The correct answer is option B. Task role. Task role fits because task roles help the group accomplish its work. Maintenance role is different because it supports relationships and morale. Blocking role is different because it disrupts group progress, and informal authority is different because it comes from influence rather than position. Question 10. Should a student connect a supervisor paraphrases an employee's concern before responding during a merger discussion for the Orchard unit with which management concept? Option A. Filtering. Option B. Noise. Option C. Downward control. Option D. Active listening. The correct answer is option D. Active listening. Active listening fits because active listening checks understanding and shows attention to the speaker. Filtering is different because it distorts information before it reaches the receiver. Noise is different because it interferes with communication, and downward control is different because it is not a standard communication concept. Question 11. Which concept is shown when a high-potential employee is prepared for future leadership roles inside a hospital department for the Orchard unit? Option A. Development. Option B. Training. Option C. Selection. Option D. Job description. The correct answer is option A. Development. Development fits because development builds long-term capabilities for future responsibilities. Training is different because it focuses more on current job skills. Selection is different because it chooses candidates, and job description is different because it lists current duties. Question 12. An employee receives performance input from supervisors, peers, subordinates, and sometimes customers in a remote service team for the Orchard unit. Which term best matches the situation? Option A. Self-managed team. Option B. Job specification. Option C. 360-degree feedback. Option D. Budget control. The correct answer is option C. 360-degree feedback. 360-degree feedback fits because 360-degree feedback gathers appraisal information from multiple sources around the employee. Self-managed team is different because it gives a team control over work. Job specification is different because it lists qualifications, and budget control is different because it compares financial results with a budget. Question 13. During a management case, two departments search for a solution that fully addresses both sides' concerns at a logistics company for the Orchard unit. Which idea is most relevant? Option A. Avoidance. Option B. Forcing. Option C. Compromise. Option D. Collaboration. The correct answer is option D. Collaboration. Collaboration fits because collaboration tries to create a win-win outcome by addressing underlying interests. Avoidance is different because it postpones or ignores the conflict. Forcing is different because it uses power to win at the other's expense, and compromise is different because it requires each side to give up something. Question 14. How should a manager classify a situation where a leader changes direction and support based on follower readiness inside a software company for the Orchard unit? Option A. Autocratic leadership. Option B. Bureaucratic management. Option C. Situational leadership. Option D. Job enrichment. The correct answer is option C. Situational leadership. Situational leadership fits because situational leadership adapts leader behavior to the maturity or readiness of followers. Autocratic leadership is different because it consistently centers decisions on the leader. Bureaucratic management is different because it emphasizes formal rules, and job enrichment is different because it redesigns jobs for motivation. Question 15. When a manager compares actual performance with standards and corrects a gap inside a government agency for the Orchard unit, which concept is being applied? Option A. Planning. Option B. Controlling. Option C. Organizing. Option D. Leading. The correct answer is option B. Controlling. Controlling fits because controlling measures results, compares them with standards, and triggers corrective action. Planning is different because it sets goals but does not measure completed results. Organizing is different because it assigns work and authority, and leading is different because it motivates people rather than evaluates variances. Question 16. After a neutral selection test disproportionately screens out a protected group without job-related justification during a staffing shortage for the orchard unit, which label best fits the action? Option A, job enrichment. Option B, management by objectives. Option C, horizontal communication. Option D, adverse impact. The correct answer is option D, adverse impact. Adverse impact fits because adverse impact occurs when an employment practice has an unfair discriminatory effect. Job enrichment is different because it adds motivators to work, management by objectives is different because it sets agreed measurable goals, and horizontal communication is different because it occurs among peers. Question 17. If an employee accepts the duty to complete an assigned task during an operations review for the orchard unit, which choice gives the strongest management explanation? Option A, authority. Option B, responsibility. Option C, accountability. Option D, centralization. The correct answer is option B, responsibility. Responsibility fits because responsibility is the obligation to perform assigned work. Authority is different because it is the right to direct work. Accountability is different because it is answerability for outcomes, and centralization is different because it keeps decisions at higher levels. Question 18. To analyze a case where a company publishes standards for honest reporting, conflicts of interest, and fair dealing during a strategic planning session for the orchard unit, which term should be selected? Option A, budget. Option B, job description. Option C, Gantt chart. Option D, code of ethics. The correct answer is option D, code of ethics. Code of ethics fits because a code of ethics gives written guidance for expected ethical behavior. Budget is different because it is a financial plan, job description is different because it lists duties, and Gantt chart is different because it schedules project work. Question 19. For an exam item where employees share unwritten values about how work should be done during a compliance review for the orchard unit, which answer is most accurate? Option A, organization chart. Option B, budget. Option C, organizational culture. Option D, job specification. The correct answer is option C, organizational culture. Organizational culture fits because organizational culture is the shared values, beliefs, and assumptions of members. Organization chart is different because it shows formal structure, budget is different because it allocates money, and job specification is different because it lists required qualifications. Question 20. In a workplace example where managers track economic, legal, technological, and social forces outside the firm during a merger discussion for the orchard unit, which concept is tested? Option A, internal strength. Option B, job description. Option C, external environment. Option D, span of control. The correct answer is option C, external environment. External environment fits because the external environment includes outside forces that affect organizational decisions. Internal strength is different because it is a capability inside the firm, job description is different because it lists a position's duties, and span of control is different because it counts direct reports. Question 21. Before choosing an answer about managers, compare internal strengths and weaknesses with external opportunities and threats inside a hospital department for the orchard unit, which concept should stand out? Option A, PERT analysis. Option B, SWOT analysis. Option C, performance appraisal. Option D, collective bargaining. The correct answer is option B, SWOT analysis. SWOT analysis fits because SWOT analysis organizes internal and external factors for strategic planning. PERT analysis is different because it schedules complex project activities, performance appraisal is different because it evaluates an employee's work, and collective bargaining is different because it negotiates labor agreements. Question 22. One manager notices that frontline employees send suggestions and problems to senior managers in a remote service team for the orchard unit. Which management idea is involved? Option A, downward communication. Option B, horizontal communication. Option C, external communication. Option D, upward communication. The correct answer is option D, upward communication. Upward communication fits because upward communication flows from lower levels to higher levels. Downward communication is different because it flows from managers to employees. Horizontal communication is different because it flows across peers, and external communication is different because it crosses organizational boundaries. Question 23. Could a case where a company compares its process with industry leaders to find improvement targets at a logistics company for the orchard unit best point to which concept? Option A, forecasting. Option B, benchmarking. Option C, orientation. Option D, mediation. The correct answer is option B, benchmarking. Benchmarking fits because benchmarking studies best practices to improve performance. Forecasting is different because it estimates future conditions, orientation is different because it introduces new employees, and mediation is different because it guides conflict resolution. Question 24. Why would a scenario where nearby countries reduce trade barriers and coordinate economic activity inside a software company for the Orchard unit most likely test which idea? Option A. Regional economic integration. Option B. Job specialization. Option C. Performance appraisal. Option D. Feedback control. The correct answer is option A. Regional economic integration. Regional economic integration fits because regional economic integration occurs when countries cooperate economically within a region. Job specialization is different because it divides work into narrow tasks, performance appraisal is different because it evaluates employees, and feedback control is different because it reviews completed results. Question 25. Where does a team generates many ideas before judging any of them inside a government agency for the Orchard unit fit best in management terminology? Option A. Groupthink. Option B. Arbitration. Option C. Budgeting. Option D. Brainstorming. The correct answer is option D. Brainstorming. Brainstorming fits because brainstorming separates idea generation from evaluation to encourage creativity. Groupthink is different because it pressures members toward agreement, arbitration is different because it lets a third party decide a dispute, and budgeting is different because it plans financial resources. Question 26. Should a student connect managers recognize that social needs and group norms affect productivity during a staffing shortage for the Orchard unit with which management concept? Option A. Human relations approach. Option B. Scientific management. Option C. Classical bureaucracy. Option D. PERT. The correct answer is option A. Human relations approach. Human relations approach fits because the human relations approach emphasizes people, morale, and social factors at work. Scientific management is different because it emphasizes efficient task methods, classical bureaucracy is different because it emphasizes formal rules and hierarchy, and PERT is different because it schedules project activities. Question 27. Which concept is shown when an organization relies on written rules, hierarchy, specialization, and formal procedures during an operations review for the Orchard unit? Option A. Adhocracy. Option B. Bureaucracy. Option C. Grapevine. Option D. Job enrichment. The correct answer is option B. Bureaucracy. Bureaucracy fits because bureaucracy is a formal structure built around rules, hierarchy, and defined roles. Adhocracy is different because it is flexible and innovation-oriented, grapevine is different because it is informal communication, and job enrichment is different because it redesigns work for motivation. Question 28. A manager sends instructions and performance expectations to employees during a strategic planning session for the Orchard unit. Which term best matches the situation? Option A. Upward communication. Option B. Horizontal communication. Option C. Grapevine. Option D. Downward communication. The correct answer is option D. Downward communication. Downward communication fits because downward communication flows from higher levels to lower levels. Upward communication is different because it moves from employees to managers, horizontal communication is different because it moves among peers, and grapevine is different because it is informal and unofficial. Question 29. During a management case, executives choose broad long-term goals for the whole organization during a compliance review for the Orchard unit. Which idea is most relevant? Option A. Operational planning. Option B. Strategic planning. Option C. Work scheduling. Option D. Performance appraisal. The correct answer is option B. Strategic planning. Strategic planning fits because strategic planning sets organization-wide direction over a longer time horizon. Operational planning is different because it focuses on short-term day-to-day activities, work scheduling is different because it assigns timing to tasks, and performance appraisal is different because it evaluates employee results. Question 30. How should a manager classify a situation where a neutral third party helps disputing employees reach their own agreement during a merger discussion for the Orchard unit? Option A. Arbitration. Option B. Collective bargaining. Option C. Mediation. Option D. Groupthink. The correct answer is option C. Mediation. Mediation fits because mediation guides the process without imposing a binding decision. Arbitration is different because it usually gives the third-party decision power. Collective bargaining is different because it is labor management negotiation, and groupthink is different because it is pressure toward agreement. Question 31. When major decisions must be approved by top executives inside a hospital department for the Orchard unit, which concept is being applied? Option A, decentralization. Option B, empowerment. Option C, centralization. Option D, horizontal communication. The correct answer is option C, centralization. Centralization fits because centralization concentrates decision authority at higher levels. Decentralization is different because it pushes authority to lower levels, empowerment is different because it gives employees more discretion, and horizontal communication is different because it flows among peers. Question 32. After a manager chooses a satisfactory solution because time and information are limited in a remote service team for the Orchard unit, which label best fits the action? Option A, perfect rationality. Option B, bounded rationality. Option C, brainstorming. Option D, management by exception. The correct answer is option B, bounded rationality. Bounded rationality fits because bounded rationality recognizes that managers cannot always make perfectly rational decisions. Perfect rationality is different because it assumes complete information and unlimited analysis. Brainstorming is different because it generates many ideas, and management by exception is different because it focuses attention on major deviations. Question 33. If a team writes a goal that is specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound at a logistics company for the Orchard unit, which choice gives the strongest management explanation? Option A, vision statement. Option B, grapevine. Option C, SMART goal. Option D, bureaucracy. The correct answer is option C, SMART goal. SMART goal fits because SMART goals are clear enough to guide action and evaluate results. Vision statement is different because it describes a desired future rather than a measurable target. Grapevine is different because it is informal communication, and bureaucracy is different because it is a formal rule-based structure. Question 34. To analyze a case where a neutral third party hears a dispute and makes a binding decision inside a software company for the Orchard unit, which term should be selected? Option A, mediation. Option B, brainstorming. Option C, arbitration. Option D, job rotation. The correct answer is option C, arbitration. Arbitration fits because arbitration gives the third party authority to decide the outcome. Mediation is different because it helps parties negotiate without imposing a decision. Brainstorming is different because it generates ideas, and job rotation is different because it moves employees among jobs. Question 35. For an exam item where a company identifies a patented process it owns as an advantage inside a government agency for the Orchard unit, which answer is most accurate? Option A, threat. Option B, strength. Option C, opportunity. Option D, weakness. The correct answer is option B, strength. Strength fits because a strength is an internal positive capability or resource. Threat is different because it is an external danger, opportunity is different because it is an external positive condition, and weakness is different because it is an internal limitation. Question 36. In a workplace example where a company creates separate units for consumer products, business products, and services during a staffing shortage for the Orchard unit, which concept is tested? Option A, functional structure. Option B, simple structure. Option C, staff authority. Option D, divisional structure. The correct answer is option D, divisional structure. Divisional structure fits because a divisional structure groups work around products, customers, or regions. Functional structure is different because it groups by specialized activities. Simple structure is different because it has little formalization and few departments, and staff authority is different because it gives advice rather than a full divisional design. Question 37. Before choosing an answer about workers are told that safety goggles must be worn in the lab during an operations review for the Orchard unit, which concept should stand out? Option A, policy. Option B, strategy. Option C, rule. Option D, empowerment. The correct answer is option C, rule. Rule fits because a rule states exactly what must or must not be done. Policy is different because it offers broad guidance rather than a specific command. Strategy is different because it sets broad direction, and empowerment is different because it gives employees more decision authority. Question 38. One manager notices that leaders describe what the organization wants to become in the future during a strategic planning session for the Orchard unit. Which management idea is involved? Option A, vision statement. Option B, rule. Option C, job description. Option D, concurrent control. The correct answer is option A, vision statement. Vision statement fits because a vision statement expresses an inspiring future state. Rule is different because it states a specific required or prohibited behavior. job description is different because it lists duties of a position, and concurrent control is different because it monitors work while it is happening. Question 39. Could a case where leaders explain why old habits must change before introducing a new system during a compliance review for the orchard unit best point to which concept? Option A, unfreezing. Option B, refreezing. Option C, controlling. Option D, recruiting. The correct answer is option A, unfreezing. Unfreezing fits because unfreezing prepares people to let go of current behaviors and accept change. Refreezing is different because it stabilizes the new behavior, controlling is different because it measures performance against standards, and recruiting is different because it attracts applicants. Question 40. Why would a scenario where an employee compares pay and effort with co-workers and judges fairness during a merger discussion for the orchard unit most likely test which idea? Option A, expectancy theory. Option B, Maslow's theory. Option C, equity theory. Option D, TQM. The correct answer is option C, equity theory. Equity theory fits because equity theory focuses on perceived fairness between inputs and outcomes. Expectancy theory is different because it asks whether effort will lead to valued rewards. Maslow's theory is different because it ranks needs in a hierarchy, and TQM is different because it focuses on continuous quality improvement. Question 41. Where does a supervisor is responsible for 12 direct reports inside a hospital department for the orchard unit fit best in management terminology? Option A, chain of command. Option B, unity of direction. Option C, span of control. Option D, job specification. The correct answer is option C, span of control. Span of control fits because span of control is the number of employees reporting directly to a manager. Chain of command is different because it shows reporting lines rather than number of reports. Unity of direction is different because it aligns activities under one plan, and job specification is different because it lists qualifications. Question 42. Should a student connect new employees learn basic policies, expectations, and workplace routines in a remote service team for the orchard unit with which management concept? Option A, orientation. Option B, recruitment. Option C, performance appraisal. Option D, arbitration. The correct answer is option A, orientation. Orientation fits because orientation introduces new hires to the organization and their jobs. Recruitment is different because it attracts applicants, performance appraisal is different because it evaluates results, and arbitration is different because it resolves disputes through a binding third party. Question 43. Which concept is shown when a team member reduces tension and encourages quieter members to participate at a logistics company for the orchard unit? Option A, maintenance role. Option B, task role. Option C, program decision. Option D, line authority. The correct answer is option A, maintenance role. Maintenance role fits because maintenance roles support group relationships and cohesion. Task role is different because it focuses directly on completing the work. Program decision is different because it handles routine problems, and line authority is different because it commands core work activities. Question 44. Employees work harder when they believe effort leads to performance and performance leads to valued rewards inside a software company for the orchard unit. Which term best matches the situation? Option A, equity theory. Option B, reinforcement theory. Option C, bureaucracy. Option D, expectancy theory. The correct answer is option D, expectancy theory. Expectancy theory fits because expectancy theory connects effort, performance, and outcomes. Equity theory is different because it centers on fairness comparisons. Reinforcement theory is different because it focuses on consequences after behavior, and bureaucracy is different because it emphasizes rules and hierarchy. Question 45. During a management case, managers compare applicants and choose the best person for the job inside a government agency for the orchard unit. Which idea is most relevant? Option A, recruitment. Option B, selection. Option C, training. Option D, collective bargaining. The correct answer is option B, selection. Selection fits because selection is the process of screening and hiring from the applicant pool. Recruitment is different because it attracts applicants, training is different because it builds skills after hiring, and collective bargaining is different because it negotiates labor conditions. Question 46. How should a manager classify a situation where middle managers convert broad goals into departmental actions during a staffing shortage for the orchard unit? Option A, tactical planning. Option B, strategic planning. Option C, orientation. Option D, collective bargaining. The correct answer is option A, tactical planning. Tactical planning fits because tactical planning translates strategy into plans for units or departments. Strategic planning is different because it is broader and handled mainly by top management. Orientation is different because it introduces new employees to the organization, and collective bargaining is different because it is negotiation between labor and management. Question 47. When employees share unofficial information before management makes a formal announcement during an operations review for the orchard unit, which concept is being applied? Option A, organization chart. Option B, policy manual. Option C, grapevine. Option D, budget report. The correct answer is option C, grapevine. Grapevine fits because the grapevine is the informal communication network inside an organization. Organization chart is different because it is a formal structure diagram. Policy manual is different because it gives official guidance, and budget report is different because it gives financial control information. Question 48. After frontline supervisors plan specific daily activities and work routines during a strategic planning session for the orchard unit, which label best fits the action? Option A, strategic planning. Option B, organization development. Option C, benchmarking. Option D, operational planning. The correct answer is option D, operational planning. Operational planning fits because operational planning deals with short-range tasks, procedures, and schedules. Strategic planning is different because it covers broad long-term direction. Organization development is different because it focuses on planned organizational change, and benchmarking is different because it compares practices with leading performers. Question 49. If a routine refund request is handled with an established policy during a compliance review for the orchard unit, which choice gives the strongest management explanation? Option A, non-program decision. Option B, program decision. Option C, strategic alliance. Option D, job enrichment. The correct answer is option B, program decision. Program decision fits because program decisions use rules or procedures for recurring problems. Non-program decision is different because it addresses new and unusual situations. Strategic alliance is different because it is cooperation between firms, and job enrichment is different because it redesigns work. Question 50. To analyze a case where a company gives managers broad guidance for handling customer refunds during a merger discussion for the orchard unit, which terms should be selected? Option A, procedure. Option B, rule. Option C, policy. Option D, vision. The correct answer is option C, policy. Policy fits because a policy is a general guideline for recurring decisions. Procedure is different because it gives exact steps to follow. Rule is different because it states a specific required or prohibited action, and vision is different because it describes a desired future. Question 51. For an exam item where employees follow a required sequence for approving purchase orders inside a hospital department for the orchard unit, which answer is most accurate? Option A, policy. Option B, mission. Option C, span of control. Option D, procedure. The correct answer is option D, procedure. Procedure fits because a procedure lists the steps for completing a recurring task. Policy is different because it is broader and less step-by-step. Mission is different because it states the organization's purpose, and span of control is different because it counts direct reports. Question 52. In a workplace example where branch managers are allowed to solve local customer problems without headquarters approval in a remote service team for the orchard unit, which concept is tested? Option A, centralization. Option B, decentralization. Option C, bureaucracy. Option D, forecasting. The correct answer is option B, decentralization. Decentralization fits because decentralization gives lower levels more authority to make decisions. Centralization is different because it keeps authority at the top. Bureaucracy is different because it emphasizes rules and hierarchy, and forecasting is different because it estimates future conditions. Question 53. Before choosing an answer about a production manager directly supervises employees who make the company's product at a logistics company for the orchard unit, which concept should stand out? Option A, staff authority. Option B, line authority. Option C, informal authority. Option D, mediation. The correct answer is option B, line authority. Line authority fits because line authority is direct authority over core work activities. Staff authority is different because it provides advice and support. Informal authority is different because it comes from relationships rather than formal position, and mediation is different because it helps parties settle a dispute. Question 54. One manager notices that a theorist emphasizes hierarchy, formal rules, and impersonal treatment inside a software company for the orchard unit. Which management idea is involved? Option A, bureaucratic management. Option B, human relations management. Option C, transformational leadership. Option D, JIT inventory. The correct answer is option A, bureaucratic management. Bureaucratic management fits because bureaucratic management explains organizations through formal authority, rules, and specialization. Human relations management is different because it emphasizes social and psychological factors. Transformational leadership is different because it inspires change through vision, and JIT inventory is different because it reduces inventory holding. Question 55. Could a case where leaders explain the organization's basic purpose and reason for existing inside a government agency for the Orchard unit best point to which concept? Option A, procedure. Option B, mission statement. Option C, variance report. Option D, job specification. The correct answer is option B, mission statement. Mission statement fits because a mission statement states what the organization does and why it exists. Procedure is different because it gives step-by-step instructions. Variance report is different because it compares actual results with standards, and job specification is different because it lists qualifications for a job. Question 56. Why would a scenario where a manager defines a problem, lists alternatives, evaluates them, and selects a solution during a staffing shortage for the Orchard unit most likely test which idea? Option A, rational decision-making model. Option B, grapevine. Option C, equity theory. Option D, laissez-faire leadership. The correct answer is option A, rational decision-making model. Rational decision-making model fits because the rational model uses a logical sequence to choose among alternatives. Grapevine is different because it is informal communication. Equity theory is different because it explains motivation through fairness, and laissez-faire leadership is different because it gives followers broad freedom. Question 57. Where does a supervisor motivates employees and guides them toward a shared goal during an operations review for the Orchard unit fit best in management terminology? Option A, planning. Option B, organizing. Option C, controlling. Option D, leading. The correct answer is option D, leading. Leading fits because leading focuses on influencing, motivating, and directing people. Planning is different because it is about setting direction before action. Organizing is different because it designs responsibilities and relationships, and controlling is different because it compares results with standards. Question 58. Should a student connect, a manager must explain why a project missed its target during a strategic planning session for the Orchard unit with which management concept? Option A, authority. Option B, accountability. Option C, delegation. Option D, recruitment. The correct answer is option B, accountability. Accountability fits because accountability means being answerable for results. Authority is different because it is decision-making power. Delegation is different because it transfers work and authority to another person, and recruitment is different because it attracts job applicants. Question 59. Which concept is shown when a leader recognizes frustration in a team and responds calmly during a compliance review for the Orchard unit? Option A, technical skill. Option B, benchmarking. Option C, span of control. Option D, emotional intelligence. The correct answer is option D, emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence fits because emotional intelligence involves understanding and managing emotions in oneself and others. Technical skill is different because it concerns specialized job knowledge. Benchmarking is different because it compares practices with leaders, and span of control is different because it counts direct reports. Question 60. A leader focuses first on helping followers grow and succeed during a merger discussion for the Orchard unit. Which term best matches the situation? Option A, autocratic leadership. Option B, servant leadership. Option C, transactional leadership. Option D, scientific management. The correct answer is option B, servant leadership. Servant leadership fits because servant leadership prioritizes follower development, service, and trust. Autocratic leadership is different because it emphasizes command by the leader. Transactional leadership is different because it emphasizes performance exchanges, and scientific management is different because it emphasizes efficient work methods. Question 61. During a management case, a new customer segment appears in the market inside a hospital department for the Orchard unit. Which idea is most relevant? Option A, weakness. Option B, opportunity. Option C, strength. Option D, policy. The correct answer is option B, opportunity. Opportunity fits because an opportunity is an external condition the organization can use to improve results. Weakness is different because it is inside the organization, strength is different because it is an internal advantage, and policy is different because it is a general decision guideline. Question 62. How should a manager classify a situation where employees strongly value group harmony and loyalty to the team in a remote service team for the Orchard unit? Option A, collectivism. Option B, individualism. Option C, uncertainty avoidance. Option D, equity theory. The correct answer is option A, collectivism. Collectivism fits because collectivism emphasizes group identity and shared obligations. Individualism is different because it emphasizes personal achievement. Uncertainty avoidance is different because it concerns ambiguity, and equity theory is different because it concerns fairness comparisons. Question 63. When an employer uses job-related criteria and avoids discrimination in hiring at a logistics company for the Orchard unit, which concept is being applied? Option A, job enlargement. Option B, grapevine. Option C, equal employment opportunity. Option D, benchmarking. The correct answer is option C, equal employment opportunity. Equal employment opportunity fits because equal employment opportunity requires fair treatment in employment decisions. Job enlargement is different because it expands tasks, grapevine is different because it is informal communication, and benchmarking is different because it compares with best practices. Question 64. After team members write ideas silently, discuss them, and rank the options inside a software company for the Orchard unit, which label best fits the action? Option A, nominal group technique. Option B, brainstorming. Option C, grapevine. Option D, job analysis. The correct answer is option A, nominal group technique. Nominal group technique fits because the nominal group technique reduces dominance by collecting individual ideas before voting. Brainstorming is different because it usually encourages open idea generation. Grapevine is different because it is informal communication, and job analysis is different because it studies work duties. Question 65. If a manager has the formal right to make decisions and direct work inside a government agency for the Orchard unit, which choice gives the strongest management explanation? Option A, authority. Option B, responsibility. Option C, accountability. Option D, motivation. The correct answer is option A, authority. Authority fits because authority is the legitimate right to command resources and give orders. Responsibility is different because it is the duty to perform assigned work. Accountability is different because it is being answerable for results, and motivation is different because it is the drive to act. Question 66. To analyze a case where managers estimate future sales before setting staffing levels during a staffing shortage for the Orchard unit, which term should be selected? Option A, forecasting. Option B, delegation. Option C, job enrichment. Option D, mediation. The correct answer is option A, forecasting. Forecasting fits because forecasting predicts future conditions so managers can plan more intelligently. Delegation is different because it assigns responsibility and authority. Job enrichment is different because it adds motivating responsibility to a job, and mediation is different because it uses a neutral party to guide dispute resolution. Question 67. For an exam item where experts give anonymous opinions through several rounds of questionnaires during an operations review for the Orchard unit, which answer is most accurate? Option A, Delphi technique. Option B, town hall meeting. Option C, functional structure. Option D, concurrent control. The correct answer is option A, Delphi technique. Delphi technique fits because the Delphi technique gathers expert judgment while reducing direct social pressure. Town hall meeting is different because it is open discussion rather than anonymous expert rounds. Functional structure is different because it groups similar activities, and concurrent control is different because it monitors current work. Question 68. In a workplace example where a leader rewards employees for meeting agreed performance targets during a strategic planning session for the Orchard unit, which concept is tested? Option A, transformational leadership. Option B, servant leadership. Option C, transactional leadership. Option D, situational leadership. The correct answer is option C, transactional leadership. Transactional leadership fits because transactional leadership uses exchanges, rewards, and corrective actions. Transformational leadership is different because it inspires commitment to change. Servant leadership is different because it emphasizes serving followers, and situational leadership is different because it adapts style to readiness. Question 69. Before choosing an answer about a new competitor enters the market with lower prices during a compliance review for the Orchard unit, which concept should stand out? Option A, strength. Option B, opportunity. Option C, threat. Option D, procedure. The correct answer is option C, threat. Threat fits because a threat is an external condition that can harm performance. Strength is different because it is an internal advantage, opportunity is different because it is an external positive condition, and procedure is different because it is a sequence of steps. Question 70. One manager notices that employees organize as a group to represent their workplace interests during a merger discussion for the Orchard unit. Which management idea is involved? Option A, quality circle. Option B, functional department. Option C, labor union. Option D, mission statement. The correct answer is option C, labor union. Labor union fits because a labor union represents workers collectively in dealing with management. Quality circle is different because it focuses on work improvement suggestions. Functional department is different because it groups similar work, and mission statement is different because it states purpose. Question 71. Could a case where a manager sets objectives and chooses actions before work begins inside a hospital department for the Orchard unit best point to which concept? Option A, organizing. Option B, planning. Option C, leading. Option D, controlling. The correct answer is option B, planning. Planning fits because planning is the function that defines goals and decides how to reach them. Organizing is different because it arranges resources after goals are set. Leading is different because it influences people to work toward goals, and controlling is different because it measures results against standards. Question 72. Why would a scenario where an employee follows formal steps to challenge a contract violation in a remote service team for the Orchard unit most likely test which idea? Option A, selection procedure. Option B, budgeting process. Option C, grievance procedure. Option D, brainstorming. The correct answer is option C, grievance procedure. Grievance procedure fits because a grievance procedure gives employees a formal path for resolving workplace complaints. Selection procedure is different because it screens job applicants. Budgeting process is different because it plans financial resources, and brainstorming is different because it generates ideas before judging them. Question 73. Where does a team ignores warning signs because members want agreement more than realistic evaluation at a logistics company for the Orchard unit fit best in management terminology? Option A, groupthink. Option B, constructive conflict. Option C, benchmarking. Option D, equity theory. The correct answer is option A, groupthink. Groupthink fits because groupthink occurs when pressure for harmony weakens critical thinking. Constructive conflict is different because it encourages useful disagreement. Benchmarking is different because it compares with best practices, and equity theory is different because it focuses on perceived fairness. Question 74. Should a student connect each side gives up part of what it wants to reach a settlement inside a software company for the Orchard unit with which management concept? Option A, collaboration. Option B, avoidance. Option C, compromise. Option D, accommodation. The correct answer is option C, compromise. Compromise fits because compromise resolves conflict through mutual concessions. Collaboration is different because it seeks a fuller win-win solution. Avoidance is different because it sidesteps the issue, and accommodation is different because it yields to the other side. Question 75. Which concept is shown when everyone in the organization works continuously to improve quality and satisfy customers inside a government agency for the Orchard unit? Option A, scientific management. Option B, centralization. Option C, total quality management. Option D, collective bargaining. The correct answer is option C, total quality management. Total quality management fits because TQM emphasizes continuous improvement, customer focus, and employee involvement. Scientific management is different because it emphasizes task efficiency. Centralization is different because it concentrates decisions at the top, and collective bargaining is different because it negotiates labor terms. Question 76. A diagram shows formal positions and reporting relationships during a staffing shortage for the Orchard unit. Which term best matches the situation? Option A, balance sheet. Option B, SWOT table. Option C, training plan. Option D, organization chart. The correct answer is option D, organization chart. Organization chart fits because an organization chart visually displays formal authority and reporting lines. Balance sheet is different because it reports financial position. SWOT table is different because it summarizes strategic factors, and training plan is different because it develops employee skills. Question 77. During a management case, a manager uses formal authority to impose a conflict decision quickly during an operations review for the Orchard unit. Which idea is most relevant? Option A, accommodation. Option B, collaboration. Option C, forcing. Option D, compromise. The correct answer is option C, forcing. Forcing fits because forcing is a win-lose style that relies on power or authority. Accommodation is different because it gives in to preserve harmony, collaboration is different because it seeks mutual gains, and compromise is different because it splits concessions between sides. Question 78. How should a manager classify a situation where a manager chooses a leadership style based on the team's skill and the situation during a strategic planning session for the Orchard unit? Option A, one best way approach. Option B, equity theory. Option C, centralization. Option D, contingency theory. The correct answer is option D, contingency theory. Contingency theory fits because contingency theory says effective management depends on situational factors. One best way approach is different because it assumes one method works everywhere. Equity theory is different because it focuses on fairness perceptions, and centralization is different because it concerns where authority is held. Question 79. When a firm discovers its outdated software is hurting productivity during a compliance review for the Orchard unit, which concept is being applied? Option A, weakness. Option B, strength. Option C, opportunity. Option D, threat. The correct answer is option A, weakness. Weakness fits because a weakness is an internal limitation that can reduce performance. Strength is different because it is an internal advantage, opportunity is different because it comes from a favorable external condition, and threat is different because it comes from an unfavorable external condition. Question 80. After a leader asks employees for input before making an important decision during a merger discussion for the Orchard unit, which label best fits the action? Option A, autocratic leadership. Option B, laissez-faire leadership. Option C, transactional leadership. Option D, democratic leadership. The correct answer is option D, democratic leadership. Democratic leadership fits because democratic leadership involves participation and shared input. Autocratic leadership is different because it relies on leader-centered decision-making. Laissez-faire leadership is different because it provides minimal direction, and transactional leadership is different because it emphasizes exchanges of rewards for performance. Question 81. If managers choose practices that protect resources for future use inside a hospital department for the Orchard unit, which choice gives the strongest management explanation? Option A, job specification. Option B, forcing. Option C, sustainability. Option D, tactical planning. The correct answer is option C, sustainability. Sustainability fits because sustainability balances present performance with long-term environmental and social effects. Job specification is different because it lists qualifications, forcing is different because it imposes a conflict decision, and tactical planning is different because it converts strategy into departmental plans. Question 82. To analyze a case where employees are grouped into departments such as finance, marketing, and operations in a remote service team for the Orchard unit, which term should be selected? Option A, divisional structure. Option B, matrix structure. Option C, virtual team. Option D, functional structure. The correct answer is option D, functional structure. Functional structure fits because a functional structure groups people by similar skills or activities. Divisional structure is different because it groups by product, customer, or geography. Matrix structure is different because it creates dual reporting lines, and virtual team is different because it works across distance through technology. Question 83. For an exam item where a leader inspires employees with a vision for major change at a logistics company for the Orchard unit, which answer is most accurate? Option A, transformational leadership. Option B, transactional leadership. Option C, scientific management. Option D, budgetary control. The correct answer is option A, transformational leadership. Transformational leadership fits because transformational leadership motivates people through vision, meaning, and change. Transactional leadership is different because it focuses on exchanges and rewards. Scientific management is different because it focuses on task efficiency, and budgetary control is different because it monitors financial results. Question 84. In a workplace example where an HR specialist advises managers about hiring rules without running their departments inside a software company for the Orchard unit, which concept is tested? Option A, line authority. Option B, centralization. Option C, staff authority. Option D, concurrent control. The correct answer is option C, staff authority. Staff authority fits because staff authority supports line managers with specialized advice. Line authority is different because it directly commands core work, centralization is different because it concerns where decisions are made, and concurrent control is different because it monitors work in progress. Question 85. Before choosing an answer about employees can trace who reports to whom from supervisor to executive inside a government agency for the Orchard unit, which concept should stand out? Option A, job enrichment. Option B, benchmarking. Option C, chain of command. Option D, equity theory. The correct answer is option C, chain of command. Chain of command fits because the chain of command shows the formal line of authority. Job enrichment is different because it adds motivating responsibility to work. Benchmarking is different because it compares performance with best practices, and equity theory is different because it concerns perceived fairness. Question 86. One manager notices that executives respond to a crisis the company has never faced before during a staffing shortage for the Orchard unit. Which management idea is involved? Option A, program decision. Option B, procedure. Option C, non-program decision. Option D, standing plan. The correct answer is option C, non-program decision. Non-program decision fits because non-program decisions are novel, complex, and not solved by routine rules. Program decision is different because it handles repeated problems, procedure is different because it gives routine steps, and standing plan is different because it guides recurring situations. Question 87. Could a case where managers set expected revenues and spending limits for a department during an operations review for the Orchard unit best point to which concept? Option A, budget. Option B, organization chart. Option C, job description. Option D, grapevine. The correct answer is option A, budget. Budget fits because a budget is a financial plan that helps allocate and control resources. Organization chart is different because it shows formal reporting relationships. Job description is different because it lists position duties, and grapevine is different because it is informal communication. Question 88. Why would a scenario where a company changes its processes to comply with new workplace safety rules during a strategic planning session for the Orchard unit most likely test which idea? Option A, grapevine. Option B, job enrichment. Option C, government regulation. Option D, power distance. The correct answer is option C, government regulation. Government regulation fits because government regulation sets legal requirements that organizations must follow. Grapevine is different because it is informal communication. Job enrichment is different because it adds motivating responsibility, and power distance is different because it is a cultural value dimension. Question 89. Where does HR studies the tasks, duties, and requirements of a position during a compliance review for the Orchard unit fit best in management terminology? Option A, job enrichment. Option B, recruitment. Option C, collective bargaining. Option D, job analysis. The correct answer is option D, job analysis. Job analysis fits because job analysis collects information about what a job involves and what worker qualities it requires. Job enrichment is different because it redesigns work for motivation. Recruitment is different because it attracts applicants, and collective bargaining is different because it negotiates labor agreements. Question 90. Should a student connect workers plan, schedule, monitor, and control much of their own work during a merger discussion for the Orchard unit with which management concept? Option A, traditional team. Option B, virtual organization. Option C, self-managed team. Option D, quality circle. The correct answer is option C, self-managed team. Self-managed team fits because self-managed teams have authority over many administrative and work process decisions. Traditional team is different because it relies more on a supervisor for direction. Virtual organization is different because it uses networks and technology across locations, and quality circle is different because it usually recommends improvements rather than manages all work. Question 91. Which concept is shown when a company considers how its decisions affect employees, customers, communities, and the environment inside a hospital department for the Orchard unit? Option A, scientific management. Option B, span of control. Option C, selection. Option D, corporate social responsibility. The correct answer is option D, corporate social responsibility. Corporate social responsibility fits because corporate social responsibility considers business obligations to stakeholders and society. Scientific management is different because it studies efficient task methods. Span of control is different because it counts direct reports, and selection is different because it chooses applicants. Question 92. An engineer reports to both a functional manager and a project manager in a remote service team for the Orchard unit. Which term best matches the situation? Option A, functional structure. Option B, centralization. Option C, matrix structure. Option D, job analysis. The correct answer is option C, matrix structure. Matrix structure fits because a matrix structure combines functional and project authority, creating dual reporting. Functional structure is different because it usually has one functional chain. Centralization is different because it refers to where decisions are made, and job analysis is different because it studies the content of a job. Question 93. During a management case, a department head groups jobs, assigns authority, and allocates resources at a logistics company for the Orchard unit. Which idea is most relevant? Option A, planning. Option B, leading. Option C, organizing. Option D, controlling. The correct answer is option C, organizing. Organizing fits because organizing creates the structure needed to carry out a plan. Planning is different because it chooses goals before the structure is built. Leading is different because it motivates people rather than designs jobs. And controlling is different because it checks performance after standards exist. Question 94. How should a manager classify a situation where a leader gives capable experts broad freedom and little direct supervision inside a software company for the Orchard unit? Option A, autocratic leadership. Option B, bureaucratic leadership. Option C, transactional leadership. Option D, laissez-faire leadership. The correct answer is option D, laissez-faire leadership. Laissez-faire leadership fits because laissez-faire leadership minimizes leader control and allows follower autonomy. Autocratic leadership is different because it is directive and centralized. Bureaucratic leadership is different because it follows rules closely, and transactional leadership is different because it emphasizes rewards and corrections. Question 95. When a manager postpones addressing a conflict and hopes it disappears inside a government agency for the Orchard unit, which concept is being applied? Option A, forcing. Option B, collaboration. Option C, avoidance. Option D, mediation. The correct answer is option C, avoidance. Avoidance fits because avoidance delays or withdraws from conflict rather than solving it directly. Forcing is different because it uses authority to impose a solution. Collaboration is different because it openly works through both sides' concerns, and mediation is different because it uses a neutral facilitator. Question 96. After managers study broad principles such as unity of command and division of work during a staffing shortage for the Orchard unit, which label best fits the action? Option A, administrative management. Option B, scientific management. Option C, quantitative management. Option D, e-business. The correct answer is option A, administrative management. Administrative management fits because administrative management focuses on general principles for managing organizations. Scientific management is different because it focuses more on individual task efficiency. Quantitative management is different because it applies mathematical models, and e-business is different because it uses digital technology for business processes. Question 97. If managers oversee the process that turns materials, labor, and information into goods or services during an operations review for the Orchard unit, which choice gives the strongest management explanation? Option A, human resource management. Option B, strategic alliance. Option C, equity theory. Option D, operations management. The correct answer is option D, operations management. Operations management fits because operations management focuses on transforming inputs into valuable outputs. Human resource management is different because it focuses on people systems. Strategic alliance is different because it is cooperation between organizations, and equity theory is different because it explains fairness perceptions. Question 98. To analyze a case where someone starts a new venture by taking risk to pursue an opportunity during a strategic planning session for the Orchard unit, which term should be selected? Option A, entrepreneurship. Option B, bureaucracy. Option C, performance appraisal. Option D, feed-forward control. The correct answer is option A, entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship fits because entrepreneurship involves creating a venture, taking risk, and seeking opportunity. Bureaucracy is different because it emphasizes formal rules. Performance appraisal is different because it evaluates employees, and feed-forward control is different because it checks inputs before action. Question 99. For an exam item where a company prepares a backup response in case a supplier fails during a compliance review for the Orchard unit, which answer is most accurate? Option A, standing rule. Option B, job analysis. Option C, contingency plan. Option D, downward communication. The correct answer is option C, contingency plan. Contingency plan fits because a contingency plan prepares for possible future events or disruptions. Standing rule is different because it gives a continuing command for repeated behavior. Job analysis is different because it studies tasks and requirements, and downward communication is different because it flows from managers to employees. Question 100. In a workplace example where employees in marketing and operations coordinate work at the same level during a merger discussion for the orchard unit, which concept is tested? Option A, downward communication. Option B, horizontal communication. Option C, upward communication. Option D, chain of command. The correct answer is option B, horizontal communication. Horizontal communication fits because horizontal communication occurs among people or units at similar levels. Downward communication is different because it flows down the hierarchy, upward communication is different because it flows up the hierarchy, and chain of command is different because it shows formal authority lines.